Oh, here we are again in another installment of whatever we're doing with this thing. What we're doing, there's not a lot to say this to go about. I kind of just figured that if I wanted to have like a diary kind of thing on hand when things actually happen in my life, I actually have to make a habit of doing it, or else I won't think to do it when a thing happens. But things aren't happening. It's a very quiet life right now. My life is generally pretty quiet. It kind of sucks, honestly, trying to work on that. But coming off of this, I had no money. This is the thing. I had this extended period to get no money. Almost didn't get my ooze when I ran out of my last batch of ooze, but folks were able to help me out, which is, I worry, is that a thing that they're actually able to do, but both sides of the equation recognized that I wasn't going to be able to make it through the next really big pay thing that I got. You got the apartment, as lovely as this place is, it's got to be, there's a big renewal fee on the apartment that I got to pay, and it just, anyways, but it's quiet. Next time, there's going to be an EB gallery that I'm going to be going to with a friend, and that should be cool. And then that next time I'll have exciting things perhaps to talk about, instead of the largely not a lot going on here right now. I did manage to get my hands on copies completely licitly. There's no ill in that. Copies of Elevator and Biotherapy for myself as MP4s. So maybe I chop them up, and maybe someday I will talk about those movies. I've been wanting to talk about like Biotherapy for a while. It's such a weird little bit. It's only 45 minutes long. It's on YouTube. You just go watch it, and then when I ever get around to doing it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like a tokusatsu show, but with gore. And it posits some interesting ideas about how to deal with problems and catastrophes from the 80s. It's from the 80s. It's wonderful Japanese cinema. I adore it. Elevator is it's a weird one. I watched it way back when I was hanging out at the old bar, the industrial cyber goth punk body piercing and weirdness bar. Is very much of that vibe. I like it. I hate the name Elevator though, but I always forget if it's Gusha no Binzume or Binzume no Gusha. Bottled Fools would be a more interesting take on it. I mean, it is technically a elevator, but it sounds like such a shitty name. But it's kind of vaguely like Japanese cyberpunky kind of stuff, and I like that. So I have those on hand. I can talk about them with people someday. Maybe there'll be a review or a look at or an analysis. Probably not an analysis. I'm not very good at that, but otherwise, life do be quiet. I made a bunch of new sets that I'm finally ready for the Nobeta video. I'm going to be doing recordings for that in just a couple of minutes. Maybe, hopefully. I got all my thoughts. Fuck, where'd my notebook go? I got like 4 pages of fucking notes. Actually, I do have 4 pages of fucking notes on this game that I want to talk about. So this whole story and presentation, I've got feelings about the story and presentation of Nobeta, but we're going to do it. We're going to get it off our plate so that we can do the video on Jumping Flash, which should be much smoother, and Exit 8, which should be much smoother, and that will leave us open for Ruiner in March. That's the next one coming up. It's going to be ultra-violent and more cyberpunky stuff, and I love ultra-violence and I love cyberpunky stuff, so, that's important. Make myself busy, and I know why I make myself busy, and it's because there are, numerous existential issues kind of going on here. I'm from the U.S. It's as much as it pains me sometimes to say that, and mostly all the time to say that. And the U.S. is a thing, and I'm a trans girly from the U.S., so there's some of that is impacting me. There's a lot of Schrodinger's box kind of shit where, like, maybe this is fucking with me and maybe it's not, but as long as I don't look at it, I don't know that it's fucking me, and there are certain steps that I don't need to take as long as I don't know. Which I realize it probably sounds pretty cowardly and avoidant, and it is, I understand, but this is not like you've got a really bad cough and you need to see the doctor because, maybe you don't want to learn that it's cancer, but the cancer is treatable. Anything that's going on in the States vis-a-vis me is there's absolutely nothing I can do about it, and knowing it is only going to make me fucking miserable. Like, there's no chemotherapy for the rampant transmisogyny that's been going on in the US right now, and how that impacts things like my passport. Really worried about that. You might imagine. Luckily, here in Japan, relatively buffered. Like I say, I almost ran out of ooze, but that was purely because I had to put off going to my doctor's appointment. I should have gone when I used up the 2 bottles and I had 1 bottle left, and that was when I would normally replenish it, but I had no money, so I had to put it off, and I put it off. But it wasn't like there weren't legal strictures in place for me to not get my ooze, which is not what's going on in the US, and I worry deeply about what's going on with the trans folks in the US and what their situation is going to be like, because it's only February and already it's kind of shitty. I know there's a lot of folks that are giving support, that there have been protests in support of us. There's a doctor, I think in New York, that was saying, like, even if I've got to go to jail, although it's not to detract from that statement and the feeling behind it is deeply appreciated, but currently New York State is pretty safe for trans care. They've been pretty upfront about that. But saying that you would go to jail is in order to continue to give affirming care to trans folks. But that's not, it's not nationwide. There's shit all over the place. It's been bad for ages already, and it's just going to get turbocharged by this. And it's a lot of stress. It's a lot to have on me, and that's just the trans side of it. Like the weird fascist coup that's going on with fucking Musk and all the agencies that are being gutted, and our information being given to people who really ought not have it, and a turn towards a more openly fascistic standpoint from a country that for a lot of nations already has been a massive belligerent. And that's with the kind liberal mask that we've had already. We've been exporting our bullshit across the world and ruining folks' lives and homes and cultures. And now I wonder what's the next step from that with the folks that we have in power now, because it can always get fucking worse. So that's, it's so as to not kind of deal with these things that I can't deal with, I throw myself into work. And since my job is bullshit and doesn't require me to throw anything into it, that's video stuff. And so I find myself throwing together sets. I'm like 3 or 4 sets ahead of what I need to be, because there's nothing I can do. I've got this energy. I've got nowhere to put it because I've got not a lot of options, like social options and cash. So I just kind of toss it into video stuff. And here we are. And now I've been babbling for like almost 9 minutes, and I feel like that's probably a good amount of time for me to babble. This was the second Bisaniki Squirrel's Diary, I guess. I don't know. This is not going to get its own playlist yet. Maybe it will at some point if I keep on doing these every 2 weeks. Who knows? I don't know what this is. This is even more unscripted than what I normally do, and it's just where I'm at right now. That's a weird place to end it on, but it is where I'm at right now. I love y'all. I hope you're taking care of yourselves out there. I'm trying to drink this coffee. There's actual coffee in here. We've talked about this before. Without slurping it too much in the mic, because I've lost my baffle puff. I don't know where the fuck it went off to. You can't see. This place is a mess. I hate that the TV's up here blocking my really cool wall, but this TV's been here for ages, and usually I put it down on the fucking floor, and it's such a pain in the ass to do, so I was just like, fuck it, I'm not doing it this time. You deal with the fact that it's there. Whatever, I'm just babbling. Y'all take care of yourselves. I love you. I appreciate the support that you've given me. You're all amazing people. I hope. I don't know who's going to be watching this, but the folks who I would expect who would watch this are amazing people. So thank you so much for all of that. But that has to do it for here. Me, Disco about. So for me, Disco here, Tokyo, to all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you, thank you. Arigato, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.